that muscle memory of checking hint tiles, especially like in the front of Hera or Ice Palace.
And we are off with a heart container in Link's house and 10 arrows in Sanctuary.
Looks like Gamachu and Tala are both going for the Uncle start here. The benefit to doing this is just a couple more checks to get bombs before heading to Kakariko. But it does make you double dip the front of Escape if you have to come back this way later.
And we had a quick matchup. We've got a vanilla green pendant at Eastern, blue pendant at Desert, and a crystal at Hera.
Red rupees from the tree pull is very nice, so all those players will be able to grab bombs from the shop if they don't happen to find any on the way. Korek, however, going straight to Lost Woods, skipping the lumberjack check. Oh, the lane getting the big bonus there, finding 8 bombs from the bush grab.
Had 20 rupees from the uncle and the shovel in the secret passage chest.
Just a heart container on lumberjack, so Aga will not be required for that location, but it can still be required for other things such as Dark World access.
And while we get the sync come in, we had a quick delay and just 10 arrows in Thieves' Hideout. And Korek is actually dipping out after that. It is not going to make their way back down into CAC.
Yeah, he didn't find bombs on the way, so I expect him to do the southern route here and get the 50-50 bombs from the bushes south of the grove.
And even if he doesn't get those 50-50 bushes, he'll have enough money to buy bombs at the shop and do Kakariko from south up.
Yeah, having the rupees to buy bombs is going to mean he's only going to need to find 1 bomb here, just to make sure he can get the race game if he needs it. And he'll buy bombs if he needs more afterwards.
And he does get that lucky bomb. Everybody else using the bush crabs to get those nice bomb drops. That'll also be very useful when they make their South Shore loop towards Mini Moldrum Cave, which the lane looks like they're going to do that right now.
Yeah, this is kind of a metagame kind of thing to put off doing Kakariko. And in the grand scheme, it really doesn't make a big difference, like the order that you do all these early game checks, because like South Shore and Kakariko are things that everyone's always going to do. But there are items he can find on South Shore to make his Kakariko trip better, just like there's things in Kakariko that can make South Shore better.
For sure, and like you said, it is a bit of a metagame thing, especially in the large daily races when you're not so much competing on execution, but you're competing on gambles. But we get the boots in the back of the tavern and a glove in the dam. And speaking of gambles, looks like the lane is going right to Agina.
Okay, so even more than just doing South Shore first, going to Agina first is very, very metagamey. Agina is a location that's very out of the way with typical routing. So assuming that nobody finds like the flute or like mirror and mitts and flute, Agina will be a check that a lot of people will put off for a very long time. So if he finds something good here, it can make a huge difference.
So Korek South Kakariko route really paying off. Seeing the bow on library, then immediately getting the boots. He's very well set up at the moment.
Unfortunately for the lane, just 10 arrows there in Agina's cave. So it's not like a huge time loss that he did that, but it's not going to be a huge time gain either.
Lane taking that glove, going to the back of the escape, going to get the 3 chests here. Bottle and a sword in Kakariko Well.
The lane gets a small key in the back of a escape, but without like a reliable weapon or a lamp, he's not willing to try killing that rat in the dark, and we'll have to leave and come back later.
Lane continuing now, going back to South Shore, going to do Mini Moldworm Cave and potentially Ice Rod Cave. Really lacking those boots, which would make this trip much quicker.
The sword too. He'll have to kill these mini Moldworms with just bombs. What he's hoping for here is to find something like a bottle or a flute so he can take care of those locations while he's in Kakariko for the first time.
Which is a shame because there's a bottle right in Kakriko, and Sick Kid gives us our hammer. We are just a moon pearl away from knowing how to get our Dark World access.
I'm curious,
Only
like...
Quake.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to say, only Quake and Mini Moldorm Cave, so it's down to Ice Rod Cave for this South Shore Divergence and Cack Skip to pay off.
Yeah, Ice Rock Cave's another location that a lot of people will try to avoid. It's not very meta right now to skip it. Like, typically you do check Ice Rod Cave. But you know, there's still that possibility that somebody will want to put it off later and maybe wait for the flute or flippers and get it while doing the Zora area.
Oh no, one of our trackers, literally Jen pointing out that Tale skipped Sick Kid, not getting their hammer.
Uh-oh. Just 20 rupees for the lane in Ice Rod Cave. He's pretty low on choices now. I think he's gonna have to go to Kakariko. So you see Korek doing the Lumberjack check now. This is pretty common for people to wait until they have the boost to check this.
Just a heart container in the dig spot, and Tale did menu over their bottle a couple of times while trying to get to the shovel, but is either just like, no, I'll be back to Kakariko at some point, and is not going back at the moment.
Yeah, typical routing strategy when you make a mistake like that is to just assume it's nothing and try and fit it in later. To turn back around right away is usually a bigger time loss than just coming back later. Unfortunately, it's the hammer, so that may not be the case today.
Unless something like Titan's Mitts and the Moon Pearl are in Eastern, it's probably not going to pay off. But with that bow, we could full clear Eastern and get 3 items out of there, as well as the green pendant. Out of logic, since we don't have the lamp, but all of these runners are more than capable of doing the Eastern Dark Room.
Yeah, early bow typically means you're probably going to find progression behind the bow, but it's usually for Palace of Darkness. But with Eastern Palace being the green pendant, that's 2 items locked by that bow today. I still expect people to not go there immediately and hope to find Dark World access and maybe skip that pendant dungeon completely. But it's a pretty dense item location right now.
Gamachu is making their way in there, gets the big key out of the cannonball chest. And we find a piece of heart in the first chest in Escape, which means that these last 2 chests are out of logic without that small key, which I believe we did find in the back of Escape, behind that glove.
So the small key being in the back of Escape means that these chests will be in logic even without the lamp. Of course, Korek doesn't know that.
Just another piece of heart in the bloomerang chest.
Did we find the map yet?
We have.
I can't remember if that was in the sink chest or not.
Oh,
silvers in Eastern Palace. That's a nice place for those.
Could we get the God Eastern with an item here? No.
Never lucky. So you see Korek intentionally taking damage there on the ball and chain guard so he can quickly death warp and get to the Dark Cross chest.
Now, if the lane with that glove has some options, they could go and mirror Gamachu and go make that early Eastern play, or they could just choose to sequence break up Death Mountain and get the 3 items up there.
Are we out of in-logic locations other than Zora? I think we are.
So.
Yeah, I think Zora has to have progression, and it's likely the Moon Pearl.
Or potentially the lamp.
Yeah, the lamp would also unlock quite a bit of the game.
What Zora holds would probably be potentially spoiled by whatever Gamachu finds on the Armos Knights or the Green Pendant.
So you might have noticed Tala dashing out of Ice Rod Cave while standing next to that pit. This is going to set up a water walk, which is a very quick way to get to Hobo and check that item on the island.
Oh, we did have 3 other items in the logic with Saha's hut because Gamachu didn't check that, but there was
Oh.
only the Bombos medallion back there.
My gosh.
There is also an option then if you set up that water walk state and then also do the fake flipper, you can store your water walk and not have to set up the fake flipper after Hobo, but since Tali doesn't have the Moon Pearl, it's not ideal since they wouldn't have any way of being able to get into the Waterfall Cave.
No, the water walk, the stored water walk that you activate at Hobo would get you into Waterfall Ferry.
Oh, that's handy. I thought that you would still get
You still wouldn't be able to get the Zorla's item on the same trip, and no money for Zora makes it a really unfortunate play. Like, you don't really want to go over there without the money to do it, because Zora's like the one place that's actually in Logic right now.
Okay, it looks like there was no map at the back of Escape or in Sanctuary, so the map will be in Dark Cross. Armos Knights only had 10 arrows, but maybe that green pendant will hold a clue as to where our progression is, where it's 99% certain that it's Zora at this point. Just a clue as to what is King Zora holding for 500 rupees today.
A second glove on the green pendant. Wow.
I think that probably means that it's the lamp.
Well, the mitts don't do anything at the moment in Logic. It could still be the lamp though for the 2 items on the mountain. I still think Moon Pearl's like a lot more likely though.
Yeah, could be Moon Pearl, could be lamp, could be the flippers for those 2 items in Waterfall Cave. But with the Titan's mitts, once Gamachu goes down to the dam, they will be able to check King's Tomb as well.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about King's Tomb being available. Give me my King's Tomb Merle. It's gonna be a while before anybody has the mitts.
Well, it's hard to say. Thelaine is on their way through Eastern right now. The other thing that Zora could be holding is the book, which would give us desert access. And with boots, we would be able to full clear the front of desert. Wouldn't be able to get the blue pendant on Lamo without a fire source, but there's no reason that there's not, say, a fire source on the ledge or in desert.
You're a monster, minded me. Required book on Zora leading to pendant desert without fire source. You're not making any plandos for me today.
I'm just saying that King Zora can lead our runners in many different directions at this point.
Yeah, pretty much any item that would unlock an item location is possibly then Zora. I think it's most likely Moon Pearl, just because the Moon Pearl would open up the most item locations out of all any item that could be.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, there's also the other option of endless fetch quests. We've already found the shovel, but with that hammer, there's no reason that we can't find the powder on Zora.
Yeah, we've all seen those seeds with like 45-minute Merles. Right,
nobody wants to go and do the farming for Zora just yet. Not having flippers makes Houlihan a viable play to get that extra money. much easier, although there is the setup with the bonk.
Oh, we're doing it now. Or is he going back to escape? Oh, he's going back. Gamachu wins! First player with the mitts. GG.
That must be getting gears rolling in his head. The question is, which will be our first player to Zora? Everybody is choosing to sequence break Eastern. Nobody has chosen to sequence break the mountain yet.
It's really not a bad call to sequence break the mountain, but it is only 2 items. You still get like the save and quit warp, so the time's not super wasted. Worst case scenario is like you find the flute and the mirror next, and you wouldn't have had to go all the way through the old man cave, and you have to double dip the climb.
And here's this King's Tomb check.
Is it the moon pearl? Come on, the line. Blue veil.
Given that the lane is running this way, I think they're going to sequence break up the mountain.
Yeah, it seems likely. Well, he's going to do bonk rocks. He might do Houlihan instead of going up the mountain after this. Although he's still short on rupees. Oh, he's not going to do either. Or he go into the lane. Front of escape. Yeah, okay.
Oh, and we had Tala read the hint in Eastern. That muscle memory kicking in.
Feels bad, man. Alright, you see Gamachu, he has his water walk here, and he's going to Waterfall Ferry. Because the water walk is already activated, you'll continue walking when you enter the cave. Just 40 rupees, though.
Take a peek at what's on Zora Ledge.
Yeah, really unfortunate that Gamachu didn't get the rupees for Zora first.
So ooh, I think we might have vanilla flippers on Zora.
It's possible.
Now, I just kind of noticed something.
Oh, no,
we're
it's not
17
possible.
minutes into the seed here. Take a look at the heart counts.
Yeah, we're pretty healthy so far. Not the healthiest seed I've ever seen, but yeah, anything more than like 6 hearts this early in the game is pretty nice. I think we had a seed the other day on one of the dailies where everybody had like 12 plus hearts 11 minutes in.
And yeah, once they all pick up their blue mail from King's Tomb, which I can't imagine anybody is going to skip, just with Titans and Boots so early. Gamachu grabbing it right now. And then we'll see if they decide to make a Houlihan play. They're at 350, so it would not take long to get the extra 150 for Zora, but they choose to save and quit. The mitts, yes, are still out of logic, waiting for a lamp to put them into logic.
I still think it's going to be Merle on Zora, and you're going to have to come back later for the mirror. I don't think it can be flippers on Zora, because Zora's are only in logic check, and the mirror doesn't unlock anything.
Yeah, that's true. Unless we found the flute somewhere. Then we could have Merle and checkerboard.
Those are always fun.
Alright, come on, somebody go to Zora. Okay, the lane starting from Sanctuary, depending on which way they go, this is either breaking the mountain or yeah, this is going to be a Houlihan play at this point.
He's going to Kings too. I don't know what he's doing. He changed his mind.
Nope. Going to break the mountain.
All right. At least we get to see something new. Not in logic, but new.
2 more items up here. And this will be the other big guess if Fellain remembers that they don't need to check the hit tiles. Korik, the last of our on-stream members to defeat the Armos Knights, get their green pendant.
Yeah,
Fellain still has not gone back. Yeah, still not gone back to Sick Kid to turn in his bottle. Oh!
Flippers on the old man. So flute on Zora is definitely a possibility.
Or that lamp.
Yep. Just be sorry. Alright, we're out of options. Gotta Houlihan, gotta do Zora.
And unfortunately, with those flippers, he's gonna have to do the bomb bonk setup to get into the Houlihan room. Which is honestly, with the mitts and the book, not as time consuming because you don't need to really work on getting the camera misaligned as hard.
Yeah, the bomb setup is the bomb plus gloves is the easiest way and the quickest, or not the easiest, but the quickest. And Tullet did get the hammer.
Yes.
He bombed the hint tile. It's not even a hint tile though.
Nope, just a catalog of all the previous major tourney winners.
All 2 of them.
Actually, 3 of them.
Is it 3 now? You used to just say Ben twice and then Andy, right?
Oh, yes. 3 tournaments, 2 winners.
Right, yeah.
Korik also reading everything. Knows that, yeah, I gotta go to Zora. So get your guesses in chat. What does King Zora hold? The lamp, the flute, the moon pearl, the book, or something annoying?
So even though Korik is doing this specifically for Zora, he's still going to set up this water walk so he can grab some checks along the way. See him dashing at a mini Molten Caribou while standing next to the pit.
It's also quicker than swimming, so I don't blame him.
I think he'll probably do a fake flipper now. No, he's just going to water walk. Maybe he already did Hobo.
See somebody calling for cape. Unfortunately, without the lamp, the cape doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, whatever Zora has, it has to unlock an item location. Whoever chose to sequence break the mountain before coming over to Zora is going to be rewarded by being able to grab that mirror right away. Fellain, unfortunately,
he's
have 500 rupees.
He's
oh no!
Oh no! All right, Korik. Let's see. It is the lamp.
Lamp, logically giving access to the flippers to give access to the mirror right next to where you got the lamp. What a rude seed.
So Hera is the play. So what are we gonna find in Tower of Hera?
The Nulla Merle. I mean, it's more likely it's Paradox Cave, though, because they do have access to East Mountain with the hammer.
So this might actually be good for the lane not having the rupees as long as he finds some kind of good, whatever he finds in Hera is a large amount of progression rather than a single spot. We saw our 5-6 crystals on Thieves Town and Turtle Rock.
I saw a pendant and ice palace, I believe. Unfortunately, Thelaine, without the lamp, has no fire source. So if there's anything in this basement, and God forbid it's the big key, he'll have to come back later.
Well, that's not good news.
Yeah, small key in the rupee or in the basement cage. Definitely not what he was looking for. And
it's the book.
So we have a fire-locked Hera, but he did get something, at least. Of course, the book mostly just leading to Pendant Desert right now, and he doesn't have a fire source for that either.
And only pocket change on the ether tablet. Oh, but he does have access to Paradox Cave now. As well as... Could Super Bunny? Not sure if he will or not.
I personally don't like to. Checking Super Bunny out of logic is kind of slow, and you're going to come back up here anyway as soon as you can do Hookshot Cave.
Correct, coming up to Zora without the money, but does have the flippers. We'll be able to grab that pearl, or the mirror.
Yeah, he already got the Zora item.
Oh, that's right.
He forced to double
that his lamp. Nothing in Spiral Cave. Able to do the neat mirror deletion block in Paradox Cave. Save a transition.
So Tala, is she also missing the lamp? Judging by a rupee count, I would say yes.
There's the Moon Pearl in Paradox.
Finally, Darkfold access.
So as long as the fire rod isn't locked behind fire in either Desert or Hera, Thelaine might be able to get away without going back to Zora.
Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate place for the lamp, and the worst of it's already happened, right? Having to double dip Tower of Hera. But finding the Moon Pearl over here, it pretty much confirms that Zora is either going to be lamp or flute for him.
That is the other thing that could be blocked by fire in either Desert or Hera is that flute. Get the red boomerang from Super Bunny.
He'll be able to check one chest here in Hookshot Cave. He'll be able to do the medallion check on Turtle Rock. And I don't think he has enough hearts to do Spike Cave, but with a bottle, I don't know what's in the bottle right now, but you would be able to see the Spike Cave.
You got Quake to get into Turtle Rock, and Tale saw that we have the hook shot on Desert Ledge.
My.
And Gamachu checking a hit tile for us.
Looks like Lane giving us a hover.
Ooh.
Well, half of a hover.
And so checking a hint tile.
It's hard. We've been playing with hints for so long now.
Correct, skipping that hair tile.
Still no second item here in Terra. It's got to be on the boss. Looks like Thelaine abandoned his hovering attempts, and we'll just be moving on.
I imagine that this will be a height cave into pod check for Thelaine. Especially now that he sees that pod is a crystal.
Alright, what do you got for us, Moldorm? Nice.
Ooh.
That is the Cane of Samaria. Oh god, we can get inside Turtle Rock.
And we get only a Master Sword in Hype Cave. So I did not see what items, if any, Tale picked up out of Desert, but it didn't look like it was anything progressive other than that hookshot on the ledge.
I'd say hookshot's good enough. So this hookshot's going to enable Tala to get to Hookshot Cave and get those items that Thelaine was unable to hover to. Unfortunately, still unable to finish Tower of Hera while she's up here. Maybe a lucky fire rod. We'll save her.
The Pearl was in Paradox Cave. And Thelaine is choosing to go into Ice Palace.
This is a big move for Thelaine.
He might be thinking that the fire rod is in here.
Yeah, it's a very common situation to see Phobos locking the fire rod in ice. But this is a huge move because, first of all, Ice Palace is a pendant, and then secondly, it's kind of a terrible dungeon until you have a lot more equipment.
It really is. You'd like Hookshot or Cane of Samaria to get through it. Thelaine is probably hoping for all 3 items up front. Big Key is maybe what he wants to see. You know, that gives one more item location besides Cold Stare to check.
I gotta think Thelaine feels a little behind, because he knows, if he's been paying attention, that there has to be progression on Zora.
Yeah, this is one of those gambles that you see in community races.
I would have thought he'd go, like, instead of going to Pot, like, go from Hype Cave up to Catfish, and then just mirror over to Zora real quick. Because at this point, he knows it's probably either Lamp or Flute, but he wants either of those.
Well, he does want Flute, for sure. And I think he knows that it has to be the lamp because those flippers were on the old man, which was locked behind the lamp.
Oh, right, that's very true. Sometimes it's easy to forget that the lamp is required for that. You get so used to the dark room.
It's such an easy dark room, especially when you've done it hundreds of times. We're gonna get our first real look at Hookshot Cave without any hovering. Other than this first chest, which we've seen before. Just a piece of heart. 100 rupees.
Nice
And
sword.
another sword.
Definitely
and
a nice
Korik
item.
is going into Turtle Rock. Or at least opening it up.
He might make a dip inside after this Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny checks.
The fire rod can absolutely be inside Turtle Rock. Although, without the ice rod, I don't know if you'd want to make that dip yet. Although both fire rod and ice rod could be in there.
Right. Yeah, the most common scenario is when you go in without the fire rod is that you don't find a small key in the first chest and then you just leave, and it's not really a big deal that you went in. But the worst case scenario is you find like the get to laser bridge key layout, but you end up not finding the fire rod or ice rod or any progression, and you just wasted a ton of time.
All right, we're gonna get a couple new chests in Ice Palace from Thelaine. Bloomerang, which I believe is item number 1 for Ice Palace. Piece of Heart is number 2, and Korek is going into Turtle Rock.
He checks the hit. Is that everybody except for Thelaine now?
I think that is everyone except Thelaine, yep.
Thelaine wins, you guys. Muscle memory, man. It's hard. It's hard.
Alright. If this is not a small key, Korek can leave. That works.
I think Thelaine might have cast Bombos just a little early. I don't think it's going to catch.
Yeah, I don't think the other one dislodged from the wall yet.
Gamachu headed over to Spike Cave. He must have a potion. Still nothing from Ice Palace. Tala is headed into Thieves Town. Crystal Dungeon. You can full clear it. Makes sense.
And there's the flute.
Oh, where?
Okay, that's good for Thelaine. It's not locked behind fire yet.
Korak's gonna go. Where are you going, Korak? Oh, he knows about the hookshot, doesn't he?
He's just gonna check Mambo's tablet.
It was on the ledge, right? The hookshot?
It was on the ledge. I don't know if he checked Desert Ledge, though.
I think he did check it. I can't remember. But that would be like a good play for him to go into Desert right now, grab the hookshot, and then he can do Swamp Palace right away. He jumps off. Okay, well, jumping off makes me think he's not going to do Swamp, but he's going to get that hookshot.
And he does indeed see it on the ledge. I did not see if Ice-T had an item for Thelaine.
I'd assume not, because he's still continuing. But we're going to have a pretty sketchy Cold Stare fight coming up.
I think he's got a blue potion, so... Not sure why he didn't just open the door and get that magic refill.
Well, no fire rod, so the magic wouldn't really help him. But there is a heart over there, I think. Korek checks another. Stop it, you guys!
2 for Korek, 2 for...
2 for Gamachu. I think 2 for Tala. Oh, taking a hit right away and missing that spin. Even with Blue Mail, the Cold Stare hurts really bad.
Really does. Gets one of the eyeballs down. Switch into combination of hammer and Master Sword strats.
He can survive 1 hit from a puff. Ah! Nice hit. No, takes a hit from buff. All right, 1 hit from
down
death.
to a single hurt.
Oh,
And gets it.
Clutching it. The lane. getting his fighter shield way before everybody else.
Oh, well, that's obviously the winning play there.
So
He's one step
interestingly,
closer
though,
to Mirror Shield now.
Pedestal's in Logic right now.
It is 100% in Logic, except for Thalane, who doesn't have the lamp.
Right? I can't imagine anybody else is going to be going to Ice Palace for a very long time, though, unless we get a ped check and find out there's progression there. Because right now we can full clear Thieves Town, Palace of Darkness, Swamp Palace as soon as you grab the hook shot.
Okay, Thalane is gonna go and grab their lamp, taking the portal out of Ice Palace.
I so wish he had done this with checking Catfish. But this makes sense. Maybe we can just skip going to Catfish altogether.
Nothing interesting on blind, but that is a crystal.
And Korak headed to Swamp Palace with that hookshot he found in Desert.
Another really interesting dive that nobody really likes to go into Swamp, just like Ice, if you're not in go mode, but there are 6 items in there.
Yeah, and at least this time it's a crystal.
We do know that both the Fire Rod and the Ice Rod could be in here. Because right now, all we're looking for are those 2 rods and potentially the Ether Medallion if that's required for Mire.
I think Thalane's gonna do Bombos into Desert like Korak did. I'm curious if he's gonna kill Landmo, because I don't think that Korak opted to do that. But Thalane's just 1 pendant from pulling Ped right now. And he's gotta be feeling pretty behind after full clearing Ice Palace for nothing.
Oh, for sure.
Pedestals basically is only out from making that dip worth it.
Gamachu also gets their blind down. Gets their piece of heart and a crystal.
It seems really unlikely to me that Ped would be required, though, because typically, like most of the Ped seeds I've seen, the pendants feel empty. But in this seed, we got the hook shot from going over to Desert, we got the mitts from going into Eastern.
But curiously, neither of those were actually in the pendant dungeons.
Sure.
The only item that we actually found in a pendant dungeon was the book in Samaria.
And of course, there's no logical rule that prevents Pedestal from having progression, even if the pendants were all loaded. Mostly just speaking anecdotally.
Only a big 20 in the dig game. We check
Correct.
VT Cave.
Korak's skipping left side for now. We'll have to wait and see if he chooses to come back for it. Given how many items we're still missing for go mode, I wouldn't be surprised to see him skip left side.
I am actually really surprised that with early hammer and bow and with the lamp, nobody has gone into pod yet.
Right? I think the idea here is that, like, typically, like, the big reason you want to go to pod is because you have the bow and it hasn't led to anything. But for all of our runners so far, the bow has led to something.
It's just, 5 items. How would you not want to check that?
Oh, Thalane menuing to the lamp. He's gonna kill Landmolas.
He's banking on something he needs is on Ped.
Yeah, I think he feels like he has to do this at this point to have even a chance at getting a top finishing time. I mean, full clearing Ice Palace unnecessarily doesn't mean like you can't do well in the race, but in a large race like this, it pretty much does mean you'll never get first, unless it was required.
There was a mention in chat that both rods on Laser Bridge. Unfortunately, we had a big key in the compass chests, so Turtle Rock is fire rod locked. Oh, there's our second shield on Argus.
Thanks, buddy. And there was at least one item on left side. I saw Korik at the map. So we'll see if he goes back in. No, we are skipping left side today.
Okay, well, we might see it from Tale.
Meanwhile, Thalane picks up that third pendant. Now, he just got access to Swamp Palace as well, finding that headshot, but I don't know if he's going to go there right away.
It'll be really nice for him if he saves and quits and goes to Thieves Town, gets his flute, and then checks his ped. Gamachu is going to give us our first look at the purple chest. Oh, did Tale skip the bombable wall and swamp? Chat is saying that they did.
It probably wasn't on purpose, if that is what happened.
And nope, the lane is not going into the Dark World. They are going right to the pedestal, so get your ped height.
Ped.
We're gonna get a likely blind pull. I don't imagine he's gonna pull up the book first.
No, that would be evil. Okay.
We got a fetch quest.
Alright. It's an item location, at least.
It is absolutely an item location.
I wonder how long it'll be before he goes to turn it in, though.
Oh, I imagine he's going to at least check Skull Woods and clear Thieves Town.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick check with the flute in hand. Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't get the Cane Samaria, so he can't even use it to Sequence Break Magic that.
Gamachu is gonna go and do a pyramid check, likely going into Catfish. Still skipping that pod play.
I think he'll probably go to pod instead of Catfish here.
I don't know. I mean, he could pretty easily mirror and flute to pod at this point.
Oh, that's right.
Rather than running.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Catfish makes more sense. Like, he's going to go to pod anyway, even though you made it
I don't know what runners are going to do. I guess that's why I just talk over them.
He just go to the pod anyway. All right, Thalane finds his flute, and he doesn't think, ooh, Turtle Rock, or ooh, Meyer. He thinks, ooh, let's turn in the mushroom.
Yeah, let's go to flute spot 2. All right, we'll see if Tale decides to go back into Swamp. And Gamachu giving us our first look at pod. Nope, she is not going back into Swamp.
Everybody hates left side. I would have thought we'd see more left side checks without the hint tiles.
For sure, especially knowing that there is an item there.
Nice God pixel from the lane.
Fluting into mire is an option as well, just to check to see what that last medallion is. Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. And for those who have grabbed the Canis Maria off Moldorm, they'll be able to full clear even if it is the right medallion.
No, it looks like Tale is gonna do an ice pal. Oh no, she's going to Zora.
Yeah. Still, I wish she had gone to Catfish and just mirrored Zora, because then we could see Catfish.
That would be nice. We've got all these spots that nobody has looked at yet.
Yeah, stuff like Catfish, Left Side Swamp, Hair Basement, these are all things that everybody wants to skip because they're very inefficient. But sometimes they have the progression and you have to do them.
Alright. About to get into the meat of pod. Got all the keys we could want. Nope, nobody has taken that flute from Thieves' Town and fluted into mire to just see if we need that ether. Everybody has both Bombos and Quake. So they're betting on that 66% chance.
Tala making a good play, though, going straight back up to Tower of Hera and Ether Tablet with that newly found lamp.
And we found our 4th sword and pod in the Terrapin chest. And there's the ice rod.
Sweet. So fire rod on mushroom. I believe. Do you believe, Mind of Me?
I believe. I am a believer. Although part of me also wants Mire to be ether. Oh. Nope. Okay. Ether was in the pod maze. All right. Mushroom. Fire rod. Let's go. Let's go, Thalane. If you want a close race, you are going to get your bless RNGs for a mushroom for a fire rod.
I'm curious if he'll turn it in right now or if he'll wait for his save and quit so he can save scum it if necessary. A lot of players don't like to do the fake powder. And he doesn't have the Canis Maria to do it yet anyway. I'm just going to turn it in right away. How behind am I? Elaine asks.
Aww.
Pretty behind.
Head is dead, so where is our fire rod?
There's a good chance that somebody else will make that Ice Palace dip later, though, hoping to find a fire rod there. So he's not necessarily like in last place or anything. And, you know, in the end, execution matters quite a bit in A Link to the Past. And Delane's execution is pretty darn good.
For sure. Korik getting his duck call out. It's a little bit more melodious than most of the duck calls I hear in real life.
Quack.
Do you think that if, you know, you played that duck call while you were out at the pod, if all these ducks would come swarming up to you and carry you away somewhere?
It might have to be a magical ocarina.
Not likely to find one of those around. And Korik is going to get the Schrodinger's pedestal. It's like, is that mushroom useful or not?
I'm a fun guy.
Gamachu takes down Helmasaur. For bombs.
And now we get to finally see the mire area from Korek. Still doing this before Palace of Darkness, though. It is Quake Medallion.
Okay, so that ether is not required. So Korek can get 5 items around here. 2 in the mire shed, 1 in checkerboard, and 2 in mire. I think this is probably our... Yes, this is our most item-dense location left.
Oh, not even doing checkerboard, going straight to Misery Mire.
Korek is missing both rods, so he knows that he's looking for at least 2 items.
We haven't seen a Front of Skull Woods, have we?
We have not.
Show me that
Vanilla Fire Rod is certainly a thing.
Yeah, I think at this point all we have left is like Mire, Checkerboard, and Front of Skull Woods. Catfish. I think we've seen
And
Graveyard
Graveyard
Ledge.
Ledge
Graveyard
as,
Ledge, yeah.
They really have been all over the map.
Well, there goes Checkerboard.
No Godmire yet. And we do have Left Side Swamp as well.
Right.
I wonder if the lane will make that play.
I feel like he has to, right? Like he found out that he did ice spells for no reason. He has to start doing things that are out of the way, making gambles to make up for his gambles.
So purple chest into Bombos into Swamp. Actually, no, he's already done Bombos.
I feel like the lane is in go big or go home territory.
Yep. Get the big key in the Spike Room chest and mire, but we're still looking for items. I don't think anybody is going to go out of their way to check the cutscene room hint. If somebody does this, I think that we can consider them to be the most indoctrinated into hints.
Yes, that definitely.
Okay, Korek, let's see what you do. Do you just dive in the hole? Yes. And
Hey!
Fire Rod!
That's no
Still-
mode.
That is no mode. Korek needs to make their way to Pod to get the Ice Rod, but as soon as Gamachu goes into the basement, we will have a runner in Go mode. But it looks like he is gonna gamble on Vitreous.
I think Gamachu's still missing the hookshot, according to the tracker. But he should mirror after Mire and find that hookshot pretty quick.
Oh yeah, Gamachu checked the big chest first, saw the item there, and is gambling that the other item is on Vitreous. And Tele is making the same gamble. So this was a really interesting seed with a lot of progression behind sequence broken items via the lamp.
So Correct's trying to do a Spooky Mire here, but he forgot that when he used the lamp to light those torches, it broke his Spooky. So he has to resort to vanilla strategies, bomb in a wall, slow, slow, slow.
Feels bad. Gamachu takes down their Vitreous, nice and easy with silver arrows. Sees the compass, knows there's one more item in Mire. They're one item from go mode. Well, two really, but... Will they dive desert or will they go back into Mire first? Mire first is the play.
Yeah, this will give Correct time to take the lead here. Correct skipping left side turned out to be really impactful because Gamachu is going to get to Gomo Swamp, which will be faster than the Correct did, but not that much faster because Correct didn't do the left side.
Nearly simultaneous Vitreous fights from Korek and Tele, while Thelaine takes down their Argus fight. As we are about 1 hour into the seed, I'd just like to remind everyone that you are watching the Link to the Past Randomizer daily race, open mode with no hints, which is the format that is going to be used for the Speed Gaming Live qualifiers starting tonight. There'll be a series of 20 qualifiers to determine position for the SG Live tournament in October. The top 3 placements will get some of their travel subsidized. But you do not need to be attending the tournament to play in these qualifiers. And in fact, if you are going to the tournament, you don't need to play in these qualifiers. It is just to determine bracket position, get used to the format, see how you compare up.
And Gamachu does make his way to that hook shot on Desert Ledge, putting him, our first player, into go mode.
1 hour 3 go mode. He's got a go mode Swamp, go mode Skull Woods, which will be very quick, and go mode Turtle Rock with that big key in the compass chest, may be particularly quick depending on the small key layout.
Do you remember which chest the Ice Orb was in Palace of Darkness?
It was in the top of the Dark Maze.
So at this point, I'd say Gamachu has the advantage here. Because Correct's going to be full clearing Skull Woods, and then he'll probably go to Pop like right after. But with a really late Ice Rod like that, it's not going to save him all that much time.
I'm a little confused why Korek checked the middle chest and now is going back to the front with the Fire Rod. Generally, I guess because he found the big key. But even then, I would go and clear Mothula out first.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little
Gamachu almost got their third hit right there in Swamp.
Yeah, typically when you go to Crystal Skull Woods with the Fire Rod, you just go to the back first all the time. And Thelaine did end up doing left side swamp and is now headed over to pyramid. But like I said before, like from his position, he feels like he has to do stuff like that to make up for the Ice Palace dive and the mushroom check.
Especially when you're only one item from go mode. That ice rod could easily be on Mothula from Korek's perspective.
Yeah, the idea is that no matter where the progression is, like you're gonna kill Mothula anyway. So since Mothula is one of the possible places for that progression, you might as well do that first and potentially skip everything else.
All right, getting our catfish check from Thelaine. Red mail?
Safety.
That's a thing.
Not the thing he wanted, though.
Korek taking down Moth, and we find our third shield, the fire shield on Mothula. So as long as nobody else makes that Ice Palace dive, nobody else is going to finish on Mirror Shield. Unfortunately for Thelaine, they will. Feels bad.
Yeah, he's gonna lose entire frames over the course of this run, having that Mirror Shield.
But Korek does know that he's found both items in Skull Woods, so where is he going to decide to dive next? Is making the pod play.
Yeah, it's really the only play he has that makes any sense right now.
I mean, there's no reason that it couldn't be an Ice Palace from his perspective, but clearing a crystal is always a better play. And yes, the Mirror Shield does cause lag while you're running with it. It's not super significant, but, you know, if you're in a race where everything else is equal except for the shield, you will notice that you're significantly slower.
Yeah, I don't have any numbers for you, but it's very minuscule.
It's so much that, you know, it's more that if, you know, you're both, like, say, clearing... If you entered Gauntlet at the same time, you might end up, like, a second behind because of the Mirror Shield by the end of it. If that.
So Gamachu is going to finish up Skull Woods here. He is in go mode. All he has to do is kill the boss, and he can head up to Turtle Rock. Meanwhile, Korek going through Palace of Darkness, and he has to continue full clearing until he finds this Ice Rod, which is all the way in the back.
And I do believe the big key was on the bow side, if I remember correctly. Apparently I do not remember correctly.
Meanwhile, Tala finishing up the second item there in Skull Woods. Just that Ice Rod from Go mode as well. I should be making their way to Pod soon-ish. You know, some other checks on the way. And Thelaine in the worst spot, unfortunately, still has to go back up to Tower of Hera to get that Cane of Samaria before things start making sense again.
I think looking for that Cane of Samaria is what kept Thelaine out of Mire. Nobody likes to go into Mire if you can't full clear it. Much like any dungeon, I can't
Yeah.
really think of a dungeon that anybody likes to go in if you can't full clear it.
Skullwoods, I guess.
Yeah.
But even that, everybody skipped the front of Skullwoods on this seed.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people do double dip Eastern Palace just because it's that dungeon you can get into right at the beginning of the game. Especially if your only other options are awful plays like Zora or Agina or Aghanim.
Yeah, a lot of people have different points of view on the early Eastern dip. I personally do my very best to avoid it. Korek finding that ice rod there in the rupee basement. That is go mode. But maybe he doesn't realize it, or is the big key back
He still needs the big key. And Gamachu unfortunately getting dead rocked. Okay, Turtle Rock, are you going to be kind with your key placement? We know there is a big key in the compass chest. Ideally, we would like 2 small keys on the fire rod side. Small key in the chomp chest. And nothing in the big key chest or the big chest. And a small key in the crystal roller room to avoid laser bridge.
Well, if we got 2 small keys on the roller room, and then 1 in Chain Chomp, you wouldn't even need the 1 in Crystal Roller Room, would you? Because you have the Poke Key.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's a pretty rare layout, though, for all the small keys to be in the front like that.
As we're waiting for Gamachu to make their way through Turtle Rock, I'd like to remind you all to give these runners a follow. They all work incredibly hard at mastering this randomizer, playing seeds constantly, and you can learn a lot from watching them, listening to their commentary when they're not on Restream, understanding their motivations. And they're all just good people, so show them a little bit of love, drop them a follow.
Yeah, watching races or just streams in general is one of the best ways to learn the game. There's so many things I didn't even know you could do until I saw somebody else do it. And everyone in this community is just so friendly, just asking, hey, how did you do that? You know, people are usually willing to take the time and help you out and learn the game just like they had to at some point.
Especially since this game has so many, let's call them interesting features. It's not a bug, it's a feature. I'd also like to give shout-outs to our trackers, literally Jen and Math Girl, and of course to my co-commentator Koi. I think you play this game a little bit yourself, don't you, Koi?
I played it a couple times, yeah.
Yeah. Might have done a couple of chaining of, several seeds in a row.
I'm really more of a Fortnite player. This is just a hobby.
Alright, if this is a small key, Gamma 2 can skip Laser Bridge.
Hey.
Heyo! The dream.
There's this really rare key layout where there's a small key in both the big chest and the big key chest. And if you skip both of those, you're forced to walk backwards from Laser Bridge. You can't even mirror because it just takes you to the front of the dungeon. But Gamma 2 not getting burned today. It's going to be able to go straight to Trinex.
Tempered Sword, Trinex. Didn't get the half magic. I thought that was in Hookshot Cave, maybe? Of course, because he just got the Hookshot before he came up here. I don't imagine he'll dive back into Hookshot Cave on his way up Ganon's Tower. He's got Tempered Sword, he's got Silvers, he's got Blue Mail. That's more than enough for Gamma 2 for the Gauntlet.
Yeah, I think with players of this caliber, a Tempered Sword and like 6 hearts would be enough to say I'm not checking any extra locations.
This is going to be a very quick Trinex fight. Gamma 2 will get their 7th crystal and make their way over to Ganon's Tower. Of course, in order to climb Ganon's Tower, we need a special key. And I see some numbers in chat. Do you want to explain those numbers, Corey?
Right. In Ganon's Tower, there are 22 item locations that contain the big key that Gamma 2 needs to finish the game. It can be in any of these 22 locations, and if you want to guess which number that Gamma 2 will find that big key, and do so now, and we'll follow Gamma 2 through the dungeon and let you know if you won. You don't win anything, but you'll still win, and that's something.
Get the winning spirit. Pinky Moogled took my guess in chess, which is 15, with standard routing that puts it in the vanilla big key chest. Koi, do you have a guess?
1. I like 1. Show me the God GZ. Now, routing through Ganon's Tower, there's lots of different routes you can take through this, and no one route is really better than any other route, except when compared to each other. So we see Gamma 2 finding a small key here in Hope Room first, so he's going to go over to Compass Room and likely mirror over to the left side. And we call this the hybrid route. It's kind of like an in-between route between a Dark Magician and the Hope route.
Lane did pick up their Fire Rod in Mire. Just looking for that Cane of Samaria now.
Yeah, really unfortunate not getting that lamp early and putting off going back to Tower of Hera.
Meanwhile, Korvik is doing their clear of Turtle Rock, and Hale is on her way up to Turtle Rock. Number 3 was a Compass, 4 piece of heart, 5 20 rupees, and 6 is 20 rupees.
Compass Room not paying off. Gamma 2's going to grab this small key right here and mirror and go full left.
There is another option besides a hybrid route, which is the full right. It's incredibly rare, though, where you would continue on that room, go over to Bob's chest, and go down to Armos Knights.
I think everybody hates doing full right. The main detractor from doing full right is that the rooms in between Compass Room and Bob's chest are really kind of awful. But it is the fastest way to get to Ice Armos.
You got falling tiles, you got fire bars, it's just nasty. Nothing in Dark Magician, which takes us up to number 10. Next will be the Fire Bar Room, number 11. Actually, sorry, number 12, because I forgot to look at the torch.
No red meringue tracks today, just some Maria for those crystal switches. Using the red meringue's a little faster than Samaria, but it's much trickier.
And the lane actually got his shield stolen by the pick, so he will avoid the mirror shield curse today.
I thought it was on, wasn't it on the boss?
Yes, but he has no shield at the moment, so when he gets the shield from Mothula, it will be fighter shield.
No, it should upgrade automatically, even if he had it stolen.
Render room bombs, 20 rupees, more bombs, and the bug net.
Looks like full right
You're
would
down
have
to
been
5.
pretty good.
We are down to 5 item locations left.
Yeah, he does have that mirror shield, unfortunately.
Bob's chest being one of the single rupees.
Nice silver ice on those.
Vanilla is a piece of heart. And I believe that was number 19.
20.
20?
Yeah, 20.
Oh, yes, of course. 20. Keep forgetting that torch.
And I believe we did have somebody guess 20, and that was the Titan 84. Congratulations, the Titan 84. You win everything, but also
A
nothing.
shout out. Correct decided to do the Dark Magician route, where you go to the Stalfos room, mirror out, then go right, now mirror out and go left again.
Yeah, mirroring after Compass Room is a modified version of it, commonly called a Pink Magician. Popularized by our very own Pink Kitty Rose, who is too good, by the way.
She is incredibly good,
Too
especially
good.
at the Esoteric modes. And the lane giving us a Graveyard Lage truck. No Samaria there. One thing that I'm going to be curious to ask the runners is if the lack of hints affected their routing at all.
We saw Korek trying for the red meringue strats, but like I said before, it's pretty tricky, so we ended up losing some time there.
I guess technically, you know, logical progression is a form of a hint.
What? You lost me.
Well, you know, given that we knew that Zora had to have progression somewhere, and then finding the items out of progression led us to figure out what Zora had.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. I like to think of hints as being just extra item locations, you know. Even though no hint ever actually gives you progression directly, it can rule out locations as if you had checked them. So it kind of like makes the game smaller and bigger at the same time.
Gamachu is done with checking chests. We'll not check these 4 chests at the top of the tower. Of the items that we didn't see, we never saw the blue cane, we never saw the powder. Imagine that's in those 2 chests up here, in Tile Room, or in the Ganon's Tower big chest. But Gamachu has completed their Ganon's Tower. And although Ganon isn't at the top of the Ganon's Tower, it is instead Aghanim 2, and we have got the Agonometry fight. Nice triple to start with. Fortunately, that blue ball caused a 0 on phase 3.
Agatu is deceptively difficult. It's one of the most difficult things in the game to do well, right? But it's not that hard to just do it.
And with that, at 126.50, Gamachu is going to enter the hole in the pyramid and fight Ganon himself. What words of wisdom do you have for us today, Ganon? Of course, I don't actually know the reference for that one.
Yeah, I have no idea. I think that's one of the new ones for V30. I stopped reading what Ganon had to say a long time ago.
Got some nice corner strats. Get some double spins in there, and is on their way into phase 3. And chat is informing us it is Pink Floyd in the flesh. Which I have heard, I just have not really listened to.
Was that like a TV show?
Relatively kind phase 3, not too many teleports. Silver's and Eastern, you say? Why, yes. Almost got the triple. Get your GGs in chat for Gamachu.
GG Gamachu.
Who finished not only first place on the restream, but first place overall with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Oh, he sniped hydropower by 3 seconds.
Got him. We'll see if we can get Gamachu in here for a little bit of an interview. Korek is at the top of Ganon's Tower themselves, just has Moldworm 2 and Agatu. The lane did manage to pick up their Cane of Samaria from Tower of Hera and is going back into Mire, and then we'll finish off Turtle Rock. Tale is on their way through Ganon's Tower basement looking for that big key. And Gamachu will be joining us in just a minute.
we're gonna get Spooky Meyer from the lane because he had the fire on already.
Spooky Meyer is a fantastic glitch that uses the altitude value in fantastic ways. And
Basically
there
magic.
is a setup using the flute when you're going to Ice Palace in order to hit the Freezor on the statue. But we are joined by our restream and race swimmer Gamachu. GG's.
Oh, sorry about that. GG's. Thank you for the GG's.
So how hard was it to avoiding reading hints? We counted 3 on stream.
You know, I when I read the first 10 in Hera, I thought, okay, right. I almost forgot. Well, I forgot. I go up my way up to Hera, the top floor. I read it again. I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? I just, should know this already. And then the final time was with Thieves Town. I was about to go read it. And then I thought, wait, the hints are disabled. Go back. It's a hard habit I have to break.
Yeah, muscle memory is strong.
Yeah, I was even gonna go read it too with Swamp Palace when I was in Go mode, but I thought, wait, I'm in Go mode, and besides, hints are disabled.
So any thoughts on this seed? It had a lot of interesting progression early, and you could read the logic pretty well as to what King Zora was holding.
Yeah, I gotta say, I thought he was gonna give me the Moon Pearl. I didn't expect the lamp, so I was a little, really annoyed. Like he gave me the lamp. I'm like, oh no! I thought for sure it was gonna be Moon Pearl. Cause yeah, I got mids pretty early. Mids and hammer is really, really rare to find before going to Dark World, getting Dark World access.
Yeah, usually it's one or the other.
Yeah, so having both of them was really nice. But it ended up being required too at the end because the fire rod was, fire locked in Meyer. So I wasn't too disappointed after that. I was happy, like, oh, okay, I probably would have skipped it altogether if I knew it was a lamp early on.
For sure, and I can't quite remember, had you sequence broken Death Mountain before going to Zora?
No.
So you did have to make the double dip to the Zora arrow to go back and get the mirror.
Yeah, first time I went, I didn't have enough money, but I wanted to go see what the Zora ledge was. Then I went for Zora, thinking I was going to get Moon Pearl. I got the lamp. Then again for the mirror.
And we just had Korek finish 2nd place on Restream and 4th place overall with a time of 1:33.15. Willard J. Bradley took 3rd place overall with a time of 1:29.22. So get some GGs for Korek.
I don't know if you saw me too. I was kind of hesitating. Should I go back to Meyer? Because I don't like to do that cutscene room. But after working hard, because I had to go farm up money for that lamp, I thought, okay, come on, you gotta pay off somehow. Besides giving me, vision in dark rooms.
And you were actually 2 items from Go mode at that point, because you were looking for the hookshot as well at that point. Or had you seen it on Desert Ledge?
Oh, I already saw that a long time ago when I went to do Agina's Cave. Yeah, I already knew that was there.
Okay, so that was just a matter of deciding when to route it in.
It's interesting that you were hoping that the lamp led to the fire rod like that, where for one of our other runners, Selene, he got the lamp really late, and he did everything he could to find the fire rod not locked by the lamp for that same reason, but just in the opposite direction.
Oh, yeah, that's... Ouch. Oh, even Ice Palace, too.
Yeah, Pedestal was a mushroom, he found out.
I was wondering too for a while, it could be on Pedestal Fire Rod, because I got Bombos. I could go ahead and clear Ice Palace. But yeah, I'm really glad that lamp paid off big time.
Did you feel that the lack of hints affected your routing at all, or not really, other than, trying to remember things like, you could peek at Spectacle Rock rather than grab the item?
Well, kind of. I think I would have gotten that hook shot a little earlier, only because I wanted to do as much as I can out of the way before touching swamp, before I commit to left side. I don't like to do left side. Normally I depend on hints to tell me, what's over there. But no, it was pretty solid overall. Very nice to have mitts and hammer early. Can't say that enough.
Any thoughts on Green Pendant Eastern?
Yeah, let's not do that again.
And Korek is in the waiting room, so we'll see if we can get him in. Well, Talay has finished off Aga 2 on their way to their pig fight with Goldsword.
So Elaine was the only one that skipped the lamp?
Most people skipped it originally, but most people also went back for it like real quick. Elaine unfortunately put it off for a lot longer.
It wasn't quite his last possible check, but it was pretty late.
Yeah, he
And
did
then
ice
he
Foul
also-
before getting it.
Yeah. And he also put off going back up to Hera to get a Samaria.
Oh, when I saw that book too up there in Tower of Hera, I thought, oh really? Am I gonna have to go to, Desert Palace for the Moon Pearl?
But we are joined by Korek. GG's.
Oh, thanks, GG.
So your thoughts on your seed and how you did it?
Oh, I thought I did, quite well. I don't know. I don't think I did anything that I would take back. I think I did it generally how I would normally route. So I don't know. Doesn't seem like I had any big mistakes. There was probably a little bit more fortunate sequencing that could have happened, but I'm not too upset about it.
Yeah, the really interesting play was when you decided to go to Zora and get that lamp, which logically locked the fire rod.
I mean, Zora had to have progression at that point, and I was really hoping it was the lamp, because that would have been a lot better than if it was, say, the pearl directly or something, or I wanted something that would unlock more things that might keep people away from the mitts if they just didn't decide to go that far in Eastern. That's kind of what I was hoping for. But yeah, I mean, Zora had to have something, so that's why I did that at that time.
For sure. I think the only interesting thing that we had noticed was that you left side swamp for last, and I think you were the one who dipped into Turtle Rock early.
I mean, if you're on Dark Death Mountain without the hook shot and you can get in and check the first chest of Turtle Rock, I think you kind of have to. I mean, some people don't, but I think that's just, you're basically guaranteeing that you'll last location if something blocking the hook shot is up there.
I'm curious about skipping left side swamp though, because we were talking about before the race about how the lack of hint tiles may make those out of the way locations feel more gambly to skip. Were you more worried than normal about left side swamp possibly having something? Because you did it fairly early, the swamp dip.
Not really, to be honest with you. One item on left side of swamp, but I had plenty of opportunity to go back later. I try to think about how my opponents might route during the seed. So I'm sure there are some people in this race that went to Pod first in the Dark World. I'm sure there's some people that went to Thieves Town first, and I did Hype Cave, and I wanted to resolve the book and it turned out it wasn't required anyway, although it did give me the hook shot a little bit sooner than I would have had to otherwise based on my route. But I wanted to resolve that. So there was like 3 really good options to start the Dark World, but I don't think any of those 3 people are likely to do left side swamp very early on in their clearing. So it was in the back of my mind, but it wasn't a high priority. If there was like 2 items, I probably would have gone back, but not for 1.
And we are joined by Tale, who finished 3rd on the restream and 7th overall with a time of 1:38:07. GG, Tale.
Yeah, GG. Thanks. But
So,
I feel so
while
bad.
you're
Korek and Kamachu.
just as you were coming in, Korek was talking about doing pod early, which I believe you were actually the first person on restream to go to pod and get that ice rod.
I did? Okay.
Nobody on restream.
Nobody went there first.
Yeah.
But you were the first one there.
Even with hammer and bow, everybody was kind of just avoiding pod.
So where I lost that much time against Gamachu.
Well, I know like the big difference between like Gamachu and Korek was just the order they did the dungeons. Like Gamachu got to go mode swamp, where Korek had to check a few extra locations there, and then Korek finding his go mode ice rod in Palace of Darkness, but it was so deep in the dungeon that it may have well has been a full clear, so very little time saved from that. And that makes up the big difference between them. Yours was like very similar. Like nobody really made any huge mistakes between the 3 of you. It was just, sometimes you went to the right place and sometimes you didn't.
And that's the case with a seed. With an item like the lamp on Zora, even though it was gating logical progression, there were so many opportunities to sequence break, like with those Titan's mitts from the green pendant, that you could have a lot of divergence.
Yeah, when I found out that Fire Rod was being locked by the lamp, I felt pretty good after that, because I know a lot of people like to skip Zora early on. I honestly would have, but I assumed that was going to be the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, we were having a debate early on as to what possible progression Zora would have. We knew it had to be something. But, could have been the lamp, could have been the flute, could have been flippers, could have been the book. And then as slowly as those other ones all resolved, we finally found out, no, it had to be the lamp.
Yes,
Good old lamp.
After I sequence breaked up to that mountain, found my book, my hook shots, my moon pearl. Yeah. Then I have to have the lamp, so it's not a choice.
The sequence break up Death Mountain was an interesting call, just because then you could avoid the double dip of the Zora area.
Yes. Then I had no money.
I was strongly considering to, once I get the Moon Pearl, I'll probably just go back up there and walk my way over there to get that mirror. It's always nice to have all of that going into the Dark World. Nice, good for routing.
And of course, the Moon Pearl just doesn't show up before the mirror.
Nope. You get mitts, you get hammer. Moon Pearl's still somewhere out there.
The lane's still opening chests in the Ganon's Tower Gauntlet. I think at this point, he's just, I've put so much seed in this, let's just try to hundo it.
Oh, where was Half Magic?
Hookshot Cave, I think.
Half Magic was desert.
Oh yes, desert. I found half magic.
That was gonna be my next step if I didn't find it inside Mire. Just a quick dip inside desert.
I think the 4th sword was in Hookshot Cave.
That's right.
Oh, well, that would have been nice.
So, of the three of you, are any of you planning to be in the qualifiers or attending SG Live, or both?
I'll be going to SG Live, but I don't know. I might do tonight's qualifier. I still feel a little rusty with regular rando. I've been playing a lot of NMG and a lot of cross keys, so I was actually a little bit out of sorts at some points in this seed. It's just a lot different than what I've been playing. So we'll see. Maybe I'll play tonight.
Yeah, sign up for the race later on.
I may do the qualifiers just for fun. I mean, yeah, I don't see myself attending the event, but I might just do it just for fun. The qualifiers, that is.
Yep, as just a reminder, qualifiers start tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's the same mode, going to be open with hints disabled. Anyone is free to join the qualifier, whether you're attending the event or not. And even if you are going to go into the tournament, you are free to skip the qualifiers. The qualifiers are for placement, and the top 3 finishers can get their travel expenses compensated. Any other thoughts on these seeds for the 3 of you?
I hope you enjoyed my hints.
All 3 of you ended up checking hints at some point during this scene. The Lane was the only one who managed to avoid it the entire time.
He's a real winner then.
Definitely.
I think the Lane skips hints even in hinted seeds. It's one of those hardcore players like that.
I just want to show this useful... I guess they're from Sahasrara. These useful wise words. On the hint tiles.
Oh, yeah.
I first started playing Rando when version 30 came out, so hints were already in this mode. So it's gonna be a really hard habit for me to break.
I'd just like to remind you all again to give these runners a follow. They're all incredibly talented rando runners in their own right. And like we said, watching their own streams, getting to hear their thought processes on how they finish seeds and their logic behind it. Really fascinating. And with that, the Lane has finished 4th on the restream and 15th place overall with a time of 1:47.59. He will be joining us for an interview in just a minute.
Hey.
Hello, Thalane. GG's.
Yo, GG's everyone else.
GG.
You can't feel that
GGs.
bad about the seed, right, the Lane? Like, you still finished like top 50%, even though you pulled the pedestal.
Yeah, I mean, I just tried some fun stuff and it didn't work out, but that's okay.
So what did that mushroom end up giving you?
300 rupees.
Totally worth.
Definitely.
Man, if that would have been something, dude, I would have exploded in this seat. That's okay.
We would have too. When you got the mushroom, we were still looking for that fire rod. So we were thinking, oh, maybe that mushroom is the fire rod. Alas, it was lamp locked.
Yeah. Oh right, it was totally lamp locked, right? So if people skipped Zora, they were in like a bad spot, I guess. That's why lots of people were not done when I expected them to be done.
Yeah, I think you got trapped in that weird situation where you have to like start making gambles to make up for your gambles that didn't pay off.
The one gamble though that I am very confused about was the decision to go South Shore Agena first. Why Agena first?
So there's a thing going on lately where, like, let's say we call that the Buane route, right? Because he always does that. Like it's kind of like the first thing he does, and it makes sense, right? Because if you think about it, you never skip Ice Road Cave, for example, right? Because it's like, let's say flute is in there, or an important item is there. It takes so long to get back there, and you never skip it. And essentially, Agona's Cave is the exact same, just on the opposite side, right? So how can you argue that not skipping, or that skipping Ice Road Cave is like a no-go, but then you skip Agona's like every race? So that doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah,
So-
it's a metagame
Yeah.
thing. Like,
And
the
it's
more
also-
people that skip, how awful it is.
And it also makes sense because people, like 80% of the time or even more, they will end up checking Agona at some point anyway, right? They just flute over there, and it's quicker, obviously, but that's like, what, 20 seconds or something? And if you find something there super early, that's going to be big, right? So I'll just go and check it, bite the bullet, and then see if I can like get an early deal or not.
So had you, when had you figured out that Zora had the lamp? And I'm sure you had decided that, as long as Fire Rod isn't blocked by the lamp, I can skip that.
Where do we get flute again? Kind of forgot.
Thieves Town.
Right. Okay. So I knew Zora had to have lamp or flute, right? Because it was like the Death Mountain access that we needed, but I didn't know what it was, so I just grabbed it after Ice Palace. I was like, okay, let's just get it in case it's flute. I really need it. If it's lamp, that's also okay, I guess. And yeah, good that I did that because it was required, which we just found out.
Well, the old man did have the flippers, which locked that mirror. And the old man is also lamp locked.
Right.
Yeah, you were the only one on Restream who managed to restrain the muscle memory, didn't check a hint. I think, are you somebody who generally avoids hints anyway in regular rando?
No, but I played one of these like 2 days ago, and I checked like 5 out of 6 hints or something, and this time I was like, dude, you're not gonna do that again.
Learn
And,
your lesson.
yeah, I learned from mistakes. Like, I'm happy about that. So yeah, that was good, I guess. But execution, I was really unhappy with some things that happened that was not good. But that's okay. It just happens. Can't play good every seed, right?
I remember you had like a rough cold stare fight, but I don't remember anything besides that.
Oh yeah, that
You got
was
the cold stare
horrible.
with like 2 hearts and a master sword. Like, it was never going to be pretty.
Yeah, but we managed, and that was okay. Also, I saved everyone from chat asking constantly what's on pad and if we checked it already.
That's true.
Thank you for that.
So that's a little victory, I guess.
Well, any last thoughts? I'll just go in order of finish. Gamachu?
Yeah, I hope Zara doesn't have anything good. Normally I ignore that dude. But yeah, it was fun overall. Again, cannot stress enough. Really nice to have Hammer and Mitts before Pearl.
Korek?
Yeah, just want to say thank you to everybody that was involved with the restream. You guys for commentating and the trackers and all that. And just thanks for everybody out there for watching, and have a great day.
Tale?
Yeah, thanks for Restream and #EarlyBoots.
And Thelaine.
Yeah, I can just agree with everyone. Thank you so much for doing commentary and tracking for all these dailies. And thanks for showing me. Also, thanks for watching, and GG's everyone.
GG's to all of you, and once again, thank you all for racing. Be sure to give them a follow. Thanks to our trackers, Literally Jen and Math Girl. And thank you to my co-commentator, Koi.
And thank you to my co-commentator, Mind of Me.
And just again, a reminder, we have our first SG Live qualifier tonight at 8:15 Eastern on Speed Gaming. Be sure to tune in for that. Other than that, on the Speed Gaming Network, we have Metroid Zero Mission 100% at 5 p.m. Eastern on Speed Gaming. That's all for tonight, but over the weekend, we've got lots of content. We've got Final Fantasy I Total Chaos. We've got more qualifiers. We've got Star Wars Episode 1 Racing. So be sure to follow all the Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6. And Koi, I will give the last words to you.
Just thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. We couldn't do this without you. Much love to our runners, to our trackers, and to our commentators. And I'll see you guys later.